Hello, this is Joanie Madden from Cherish the Ladies, and you're listening to the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast with Mark Gunn.
Show number 683. Welcome to the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast, helping you celebrate Celtic culture through music. I am Mark Gunn. This podcast is here for fans of Celtic music. It is here to build a diverse Celtic community and help the incredible artists who so generously share their music with you. If you hear music you love, please email the artists. Let them know you heard them on the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast. Musicians depend on your generosity to keep making music, so please find a way to support them. Buy a CD, album pen, shirt, digital download, or join their communities on Patreon. Just like this podcast, many of these artists have a Patreon or some sort of fan community. Support it. You can find a link to all the artists in the show notes, along with show times, when you visit our website at CelticMusicPodcast.com. We are looking for Celtic designs to highlight for the 2025 season. If you or someone you know creates Celtic art, please contact us at follow@bestcelticmusic.net and send 3 to 4 images for us to consider. If your art is accepted, you will become compensated for your work. And if you're a Celtic musician, you can also send an email to follow@bestcelticmusic.net, because you will find out how to submit your band to be played on the podcast. You'll also get a free ebook called Celtic Musician's Guide to Digital Music. And if you're a fan of the show and you send an email to follow@bestcelticmusic.net, you can learn how to subscribe and get a free music-only episode. Go check it out. We kicked off the show with Natalie Padilla. That was 58 years from her album Paths and Places. Next up is Jigjam with Bouli from Across the Pond.
markets to learn for her mommy 3 hanks of fine yarn. She met with a young man along the highway, which caused this young damsel to dally and stray. Sit down beside me, I mean you no harm. Sit down beside me, this new tune to learn. Here is 3 guineas your mommy to pay. So lay by your yarn till the next market day. They sat down together, the grass it was green. The day was the fairest that ever was seen. The look in your eye beats a morning in May. I could sit by your side till the next market day. Sit down beside me, I mean you no harm. Sit down beside me, this new tune to learn. Here is 3 guineas your mommy to pay. So lay by your yarn till the next market day. Said the air that he played her still rang in her head. She said, I'll go find him by land or by sea till he learns me the tune called the next market day. Sit down beside me, I mean you no harm. Sit down beside me, this new tune to learn. Here is 3 guineas your mommy to pay. So lay by your yarn till the next market day. A maid going to comb her markets to learn for her mommy 3 hanks of fine yarn. She met with a young man along the highway, which caused this young damsel to dally and stray. Sit down beside me, I mean you no harm. Sit down beside me, this new tune to learn. Here is 3 guineas your mommy to pay. So lay by your yarn till the next market day. Sit down beside me, I mean you no harm. Sit down beside me, this new tune to learn. Here is 3 guineas your mommy to pay. So lay by your yarn till the next market day. we've all made mistakes that seem to lead us astray. But every time they help to get us where we are today, that's as good a place as any, and it's probably where we're best off anyway. 'Cause it's a long and rugged road, and we don't know where it's headed. We know it's gonna get us where we're going. When we find what we're looking for, we'll drop these bags and search no more. It's gonna feel like heaven when we're home. It's gonna feel like heaven when we're home. There's no such thing as perfect. If there is, we'll find it when we're good and dead. Trust me, I've been looking, but tonight I think I'll go and take a bath instead. Then maybe I'll walk a while and feel the earth beneath me. They say if you stop looking, it doesn't matter if you find it. Who's to say that even if I did, it's even really what I'm looking for? It's a long and rugged road, and we don't know where it's headed. No, it's gonna get us where we're going. When we find what we're looking for, we'll drop these bags and search no more. It's gonna feel like heaven when we're home. It's gonna feel like heaven when we're home. It's a long and rugged road, and we don't know where it's headed. No, it's gonna get us where we're going. When we find what we're looking for, we'll drop these bags and search no more. It's gonna feel like heaven when we're home. 'Cause it's a long and rugged road, and we don't know where it's headed. No, it's gonna get us where we're going. When we find what we're looking for, we'll drop these bags and search no more. It's gonna feel like heaven when we're home. It's gonna feel like heaven when we're home.
After Jigjam came the Drowsy Lads with the Next Market Day, featuring Jesse Powers and Ryan Hall. The Drowsy Lads and Time Flies from their album Time Flies. Then Lúnasa with John McGinley's from Live in Kyoto, their newest album. And we finish up the set with the BorderCollies. They will be at Irish Fest Atlanta next weekend. That was Heaven When We're Home from their album To the Hills and Back. I want your feedback. What are you doing today while listening to the podcast? You can send a written comment along with a picture of what you're doing while listening, or of a band you saw recently. Or you can just let me know how you are listening to the podcast. I'd love to know that as well. The show is available on a bunch of podcast apps like Apple Podcast, Podcast Addict, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Castbox, Pandora, Podbean, and my favorite, Overcast. Now, I'm looking at a couple of those, iHeartRadio and Pandora, and both of those are music playing apps. So I'm I'm hesitant to say that they will be around for long, considering Amazon Music is no longer playing the podcast, or nor is Spotify. So just a heads up, you might want to try one of these others. If you have an iOS device, check out Apple Podcasts or Overcast. If you have an Android device, check out Podcast Addict or Pocket Casts. I know those are some really good ones. So email me, follow@bestcelticmusic.net. Let me know. Jeffrey Evans emailed a photo. Hey, Mark, greetings from Louisville, Kentucky. Just wanted to share with you since I thought you would appreciate it. Last Saturday, my wife and I participated in a trunk or treat that was hosted by the Shelby County Humane Society. And as you can see in the picture, we went heavily into a cat theme. I found a cat-based trunk or treat kit that was cat-centric. We took our Sphinx cat that we rescued through a TNR effort and added various cat base items inside the trunk area, including pages from a Star Trek cat calendar. And my wife was dressed up as a cat, whereas I simply dressed as a TNR. To top it all off, I even had a loudspeaker playing a cat song playlist consisting of Your Whiskers in the Jar album and Lord of the Pounce. Unfortunately, everyone was so distracted by our cat, nobody noticed the music, but we enjoyed it. Quick side note, on the episode web pages, every spot where you list the email address to send feedback to or band submissions, the .net is left off. Thank you so much for sharing that, Jeffrey. Yes, I do leave off that .net. That is my way to avoid spammers who pick up email addresses and, start hitting things up. So I just decided to leave that off. I mention it, of course, in each episode, and hopefully that sticks well enough that you remember to put .net at the end. But follow at bestcelticmusic.net. Eric Guarine emailed, Mark, I heard you mention a shortfall. I didn't catch the details, probably in a noisy environment. I've been listening since episode 6 in multiple states and countries, from warm Santa Lucia to cold Iceland to the Rock of Gibraltar, and on planes across both oceans. Thanks for all of this. To help with the shortfall, I upped to the Songhinder tier. Keep up the great work, Sláinte. Thank you so much, Eric. I really appreciate it for so many years. In fact, I appreciate all your support. And for, of course, raising your patronage over on Patreon. I really appreciate that. It is, of course, through all of your generosity that this show gets to come out each and every week. Larry Budd emailed, Hey, Mark, I shared your podcast with friends. We will be traveling next week to Ireland, and I took a break from raking to thank you for your work on our shared heritage. Any must-sees, particularly musical, would be appreciated. Larry Budd, a Cochrane with ties at least to the 1700s in Ireland. If you would like to head back and hike 8,000 miles on America's Triple Crown, join me at thetrail-head.org. Thank you so much, Larry. I'm sure you will discover much great music along the way. I'm not sure exactly where you're going, but there's so much in Ireland. I'm looking forward to heading back there, though it looks like it's not going to be till 2026 before I get my chance to visit Ireland again. If anyone has any recommendations of things that Larry should see, drop me an email, follow at bestcelticmusic.net. So the Irish Fest Atlanta is taking place November 8th through 10th. We are just a couple weeks away. In preparation for that, I got to do some interviews with several of the bands from Irish Fest Atlanta. I know there's a couple already on the feed. One of the headliners is Cherish the Ladies. They're performing Saturday night. And for 4 decades, Cherish the Ladies has captivated audiences worldwide as one of the most celebrated Irish music ensembles in history. Renowned for their exhilarating mix of traditional Irish music, stunning vocals, and propulsive step dancing, they have won the hearts of audiences and critics alike. Cherish the Ladies is headlining Irish Fest Atlanta on Saturday, November 9th. It took over 2 months to secure this interview with Joanie Madden. The band is extremely busy, but I'm really happy to share it now. So without further ado, here's my interview with Joanie Madden of Cherish the Ladies. All right, so today I have Joanie Madden with the band Cherish the Ladies. And how are you doing today, Joanie?
Well, I'm coming to you from County Clare, Milltown Malbay, and delighted to be talking to you, Mark, and a big hello to all your listeners out there.
So what are you doing in County Clare right now for?
Well, I was born in the Bronx, New York. My dad was a great accordion player. His name was Joe Madden, and he immigrated from County Galway, a place called Portumna. And my mom came from a little village called Milltown Malbay, and some of your listeners might know it from its home of the Willie Clancy Festival. And my mother came from this town, and I came back to visit And this house fell on my lap. I rented this home and wound up buying it afterwards. And when I was cleaning it out, I found an 8x10 picture of myself in the closet. So I guess it was meant to be.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's awesome. All right. Well, now you are one of the founders of Cherish the Ladies, and Cherish the Ladies will be performing at Irish Fest Atlanta for the weekend of November 8th through 10th. Can you can we find out a little bit about you and the band and how this all came together? Why don't we start with a little bit about your history and how you got started playing Irish music?
Oh, sure. In my story, and it kind of is the story of all of the ladies in Cherish the Ladies, we all came from musical households. In every one of our situations, everybody had a father that played music or did dancing or sang, and we were all brought up in these houses filled with music. And I was born again in the Woodlawn section of the Bronx. It was a very, very Irish or Italian neighborhood, and I grew up with, probably 100 kids in my school were first-generation Irish-American like myself. And in the neighborhood, people were very involved in keeping the traditions going. We all played Irish football, we did Irish dancing, and I guess my father recognized early on that he saw that I had music in me and set me up for some music lessons. And I was very, very fortunate because my father was an incredible musician. He was an All-Ireland champion on the accordion, and he was a very well-known musician in the tri-state area. And he had a band that up to 16 pieces, and they played hundreds and hundreds of weddings and dances. So I was always Joe Madden's daughter growing up. But when I actually started, believe it or not, because he started me on the fiddle, I guess because the fiddle goes with the accordion, and I didn't like that. I quit that after a few months, and then I took 2 piano lessons, and then I quit that. And then one day I saw a friend of mine was taking lessons from a man named Jack Cohn, who was one of my father's closest friends and came from a few miles from my father's hometown, a place called Woodford. And Jack lived just 5 houses around the corner, and my friend was taking lessons. And I said, "Oh my God, what is that?" And she said, "Oh, that's a whistle." Well, I fell in love with it as soon as I heard it. And I went to my father and mother and I said, "Listen, I want to take whistle lessons." And my father more or less told me where I could go. He said, "I'm not wasting any more money on you on lessons. That's it." And anyway, thank God a whistle was $3, and the whistle was $5, and the lesson was $3. And I called up Jack Cohn, and I had my first lesson around. I was just about to turn 13, and 12. I was 12, 13, somewhere in there, and I was addicted right off the bat. I fell in love with it, and I was running home at lunchtime, and again, what I had was the bonus was again all the years of listening to my family, all the house parties, the christenings, the weddings. It was always surrounded with Irish music with my father and all his fantastic friends. And so when I started learning the music, it came to me very easy because I had been hearing all these tunes throughout my life. So I kind of guess I was taking it in through osmosis. Anyway, I started playing, and then I wound up, I guess I got very lucky. I won the All-Ireland on the whistle and the flute and the duet. And we also got second place in the Cayley band. And we had 9 women and 1 fellow, Tommy Smythe on the drums. And also one of my best friends, a woman who grew up and we went to the same grammar school, is a woman named Eileen Ivers. And Eileen had also won the All-Ireland on the fiddle. So it was an incredible year for America. For us all, bringing back all these gold medals. And I received a phone call from the great Mick Maloney from Limerick, who was, at the time, he was a ethnomusicologist at Villanova University, and he called me up to congratulate me, and he said, "My God," he said, "this is amazing what you've done." And he said, "Do you realize, that you're all women? This is unheard of." And I said, "What do you mean we're all women? We were just winning for America. We had no idea. We weren't looking at male or female." And he said, I want to do a concert series featuring women. He said, "And I want you to help me put it together, and I want you to MC it." And I said, "Well, what are you going to call it?" "Cherish the Ladies." I just said that off the top of my head, never thinking that, by God, it would become my life's work. And here we are about to turn 40 years old on January the 5th. So it was all because of Mick Maloney. We got together, did a couple of concerts, and then they were all sold out. And we went into the studio and we recorded an album, and that was chosen by the Library of Congress as the best folk album of the year. And through that, we received a grant to go on a 12-city tour with the National Endowments for the Arts. And those 12 years have now turned into, 40 years and 18 albums and over almost 4,000 concerts performed all over the world, including 300 nights of symphony orchestra. So never in my wildest dreams, Mark, I'll tell you that much.
Wow, I'm like kind of breathless here. Like this is really that's an incredible story. I am wow. I want to dig into that in a moment, but let's share some music right now so that we can get the audience caught up with some of the music that you play. So why don't you introduce the first track?
Well, we love to play traditional music, and we're very proud and honest. We don't really feel like that, like we need big sound. We love to be, we're pretty much all purists. And we start off, this is a medley of tunes, and we recorded it here in Milltown Malbay at a local studio, and we were recording a Christmas album. And Lord Inchiquin, he was from County Clare, and we are in Clare. So we put this medley together. Starts off with a waltz called Lord Inchiquin, and then it goes into a couple of reels. Sweeney's Dream, Johnny Henry's Thady Casey's Fancy. And I'm very honored in Cherish the Ladies. I have Mary Coogan on guitar. Nullick Casey is playing fiddle. Morella Murray is on the accordion. And on this track, Kathleen Boyle's on piano, and we also have a special guest. Donica Goff is playing bodhrán. Hope you enjoy it.
That is from Christmas in Ireland, right?
Yes.
That track?
Yes.
And how many albums have you released over the years?
Well, as I said, it's 18 years. I've made 24 albums, and I've performed in over 215, 220 albums now, where I've guested playing whistle. And I've had some great times and great chances of recording with some really phenomenal people. And you know what amazing is, Mark, is that people from all walks of life and every ethnicity, they love Irish music.
Yeah, it's totally true. I've been doing my podcast since 2005, and the people from around the globe who are listening to it, it's kind of mind-blowing. Yes. Now, you have you have to say, is this the same lineup that you've had since the beginning?
No, you know what happened to us, Mark, and it's a 5-letter. Is it a 5-letter word? But it's called babies. Babies came along, and that's the problem. The number one problem with an all-female band. You know, when we got the band going, we were starting to get. You know, we did 2 tours with grants from the National Endowment for the Arts and from the New York State Council on the Arts, and then that was it. We were on our own, and I went back to all the girls, and I said, you know, we were having such a great time. I said, you want to see if I can get a few more gigs? And they all said, yeah, definitely. So I said, listen, so I would sit down, I'd call and send out. There was no calling, of course, there was no internet, there was none of that, you know, trying to get work or traveling around. It was nuts when you think of what we have now with the internet. But, you know, I would be getting little slips of paper and places anywhere to see. But I remember I'd call, this is Joanie Madden from Cherish the Ladies. They'd say, what church are you with? I said, no, Cherish the Ladies. But anyway, we finally got to the point where we were doing so many gigs. And I said, listen, guys, I need you to quit your jobs. I said, I can't do it. You know, we're getting all these offers and I have to say no all the time. I said, I promise you, I will be loyal to the band. If you quit your jobs, I will be loyal to you and I will not go anywhere. And I've stuck by that promise, and I've been running the band ever since. But, you know, we got up to doing 250 days a year. But, you know, Eileen Ivers was with us at the time, and then she got the call to go do Hall & Oates. And, you know, you couldn't stand in her way, you know. Then we had Winnie Horan, who was, you know, went off to form Solace. And we had, you know, Kathy Ryan went off to do her own solo career. So down through the time right now, it's myself and Mary Coogan have been there since for the 40 years. And Morella Murray and Kathleen Boyle are in 22 years now. And Nullix in 10 years. And Kate, I guess that's 8 or 9 years. So, you know, unfortunately, again, change in the band is inevitable, which we always hate. I hate change because, you know, you get so close to these people, you know, you're like sisters. But never fallen out with anybody, and everyone is always a great friend, and we've remained close, all of us, down through the years. And a lot of people have gone on to do great things. You know, I've had to turn down a lot of work and, you know, things that have come my way, being in charge. Because I had some incredible successes with this Song of the Irish Whistle series I did. You know, I was selling, you know, I sold 500,000 copies, and the record companies, quit that damn band. You don't need that band. But I said, I need that damn band, and that damn band needs me. So I was loyal to them. But you know what? I have no regrets. We've traveled all over the world, and we've played, you know, thousands of concerts and brought joy to a lot of people. And to me, that's what, you know, that's what my job is traveling and having people come to a concert. You know, we always have the best Irish dancers, the music, we have the song, the dancing, and as they say, the crack, which means, of course, having great fun. We have the crack with the audience, and that's what it's all about. People smiling and laughing and leaving a place when they've come in, you know, and spent their hard-earned money coming to a concert. You want everybody to enjoy themselves, and I love to be out there in the front of the hall shaking hands with everybody I can. That's what it's about.
Yeah, that's fantastic. It must have been challenging, though. I mean, over the years, because you've run into a lot of challenges since Mick Maloney said, "Hey, you an all-female band. This is incredible." What kind of how has it been? I mean, have you run into a lot of problems? Have you found some great opportunities because of being in an all-female group? How has this been?
Well, you know, we had to overcome a lot of obstacles. I remember when Mick was telling me he had gone back to the Irish Traditional Music Society in Philadelphia, and in 110 years, there was over 3,000 members. And not one of them was a woman. And so here we were, like, starting out. We really, I guess we were a bit of trailblazers and breaking down the barriers. But I remember when I was calling people and I would tell them that, you know, they were an all-female group, you know, people thought we were just a marketing ploy. that, we were just this group, just a bunch of women. And the thing is, we would get there and play. I'll never forget, so every time in the early days, people would go, "Oh my God, you girls can really play and entertain." They thought it was just an act. And we had to climb, a lot of mountains. As every band will tell you, the road is a tough road. There's nothing easy about it, living out of a suitcase. To me, I remember, I think, people would say, you don't get paid for playing, you get paid for traveling, because that's the tough. Yeah. But again, we've had so many wonderful, wonderful, wonderful moments in our career. And, I wouldn't change it for a second, whether getting to Nashville and recording with Vince Gill or Nancy Griffith, or playing with Pete Seeger, or being with, played over 300 nights, a symphony orchestra, having an album nominated, for a Grammy with the Boston Pops. I mean, these are things that I'm in my wildest dreams. Whether you're a all-female band or a male band, these are things that we had to work hard to get. I mean, the only problem with being an all-female band, which again, I never wanted an all-female band. This was just something that happened. We built it, and it just was something people kept coming back to. I would love to have, and we do have fellas on that do dance, and we have guest singers that come with us, and might have a drummer or, a bass player. But we've had so many successes, and, we've lasted 40 years, 4 decades. And, as I said, at this stage of the game, we've been one of the most popular music groups in traditional music in all those 4 decades. So I guess, as my father would say, what you said to me, I guess you're doing something right. So
you're doing it right. Yeah. All right. Well, why don't you introduce the next track that we're going to share for our audience? Okay.
Well, I love to write a lot of tunes. And you know what? Maybe we'll play the first tune that I ever composed. It's a jig I called The Cat's Meow. And it's a tune that I wrote, and I have to say it's traveled all over the world, and I've played it in China and Japan and Australia, and it's become a basic session tune. And this is a track that we recorded on a live recording we did for a PBS special that it's with the 16-piece orchestra. So I hope you enjoy it. Here's the first tune I ever composed when I was 14 years old. It's called The Cat's Meow Jig.
So I am really excited seeing you at Irish Fest Atlanta. First off, I just throw this out for a moment. I also understand there's some people out there who like they have an energy and it gets you excited, and you definitely had that, Joanie. So, but let me ask you a few questions to help others find more music as well. First off, let's find out if there's an album that you think is just brilliant that our listeners should definitely hear. What would that album be?
Well, if you look at history, you have to go back to the Bothy Band, the best trad band ever, the Bothy Band. Old Hag, Have You Killed Me?
Awesome. How about a favorite band that you have enjoyed over the years?
Lúnasa, Chieftains, hard to beat. The Dannon, Alton, they're all so great. Every band, musicianship is off the charts.
How about a band or artist that's an up and coming one, someone who's new that you've seen out on the circuit, and you're like, whoa, this is awesome.
Garadice. Fantastic. Porrick McGovern on the pipes and Dave Sheridan. They're fantastic. Check them out.
So I love traveling and such. So what's your favorite place to go visit in Ireland?
Oh boy, that's a hard question. Nothing beats home, but can't beat Galway City, Killarney, or Ennis in County Clare. But if it's music you want, as the song says, come there. That's why I'm here. I'm in a local town here. There's music 5-6 nights of the week, and the best musicians living down the road. I love it.
Awesome. Let's one final question, and that is, you're heading to Irish Fest Atlanta. Have you been to Atlanta before? I'm sure you have. This is kind of a rhetorical question. But.
Oh yeah, we've been to all over Georgia, and. We played with the Atlanta Symphony a number of times. We've been all over Atlanta. We're really looking forward to Irish Fest, but I'm also looking forward to the fact is that my sister lives in Swanee. So, I've got a sister there, and she's bringing her gang. And what's great about Atlanta, it's one of those little pockets in America that, years ago you always heard about Chicago, Boston, New York. You never heard about the place like Atlanta having a thriving Irish music scene the way it does. Irish music, Irish song, Irish dance. It's all there in Georgia, and it's like Minneapolis, places like you'd never in a million years think this would be coming out of it. And some of the greatest musicians that are coming up and coming are coming out of there. So I'm delighted to be coming, and we're sharing the stage with the Friel sisters. And if your listeners don't know them, they're outstanding musicians and again singers, the whole job. So we're going to have great fun. Looking forward to hanging out with everybody, meeting the locals, playing tunes, having sessions. It's going to be great, and workshops, and teaching some workshops.
That's fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be out there. My daughter Anara and I will be out there singing as well. So we're excited to be out there. All right. Well, that's fantastic. Well, we have one final track for you to share. So why don't you let our listeners know what this is? And thank you so much for joining me, Joanie. I really appreciate it. This was really inspiring.
Well, thank you, Mark. Thanks for having us. And thanks again to all your listeners that are tuning in from all over the world. I hope they're enjoying these programs. And thanks for educating your listeners about all the people that are playing this great music of ours. We're going to finish up with a song. This is a song that we recorded on an album called The Girls Won't Leave the Boys Alone when we were signed to RCA Records. And this is a song that actually comes from the 1600s. And it's actually a Scottish song. It's about a girl who, of course, fell in love with the boy and he wasn't good enough. And she's saying, oh, the boom, the broom, the brawny bonny broom. But on this track we're featured, we have Eric Weisberg on the banjo. And if you don't know Eric Weisberg, you've certainly heard him because he's the man who played da-da-dum, bum, 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 from Deliverance. So he's on the banjo prominent. I hope you enjoy this track. It's Deirdre Connolly. Again, a song from the 1600s that we brought to bring it up to these days. Then thanks again, Mark, for having me.
You happen. Joanie, it's just absolutely delightful, as you can tell by the interview. You can find out more about the group at cherishtheladies.com, and make sure you pick up a copy of their USBs if you get a chance to see them live. Thank you, patrons of the podcast. You are the bomb. It is because of your generosity that you get to hear so much great Celtic music each and every week. Your kindness pays for our engineer, graphic designer, Celtic Music Magazine editor, promotion of the podcast, and allows me to buy the music I play here. It also pays for my time creating the show each and every week. As a patron, you get ad-free and music-only episodes before regular listeners. You get to vote in the Celtic Top 20. You get standalone stories. You get a private feed to listen to the show, or you can listen through the Patreon app, all for as little as $1 per episode. A special thanks to our Celtic legends, Bruce, Brian McReynolds, Marty Myers, Alan Schindler, Karen D.M. Harris, Emma Bartholomew, Dan McDade, Miranda Nelson, Nancy Barnett, Kevin Long, Gary R. Hook, Linda McNeil, Kelly Garrett, Annie Lurkowski, and Sean Cowley. Here is your 3-step plan to support the podcast. Number 1, go to our Patreon page. Number 2, decide how much you want to pledge every week. $1, $5, $25. Make sure you cap how much you want to spend per month. Number 3, keep listening to the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast to celebrate Celtic culture through music. You can become a generous patron of the podcast on Patreon at songhinge.com. You can also travel with Celtic Invasion Vacations. Every year I take a small group of Celtic music fans on the relaxing adventure of a lifetime. We don't see everything. Instead, we stay in one area. We get to know the region through its culture, history, and legends. You can join us with an auditory and visual adventure through podcasts and videos. And you can also now join our Celtic Invasion of Galicia. We're going to explore the Celtic roots of this region of northwest Spain as we visit the final Celtic nation that I've done on these Celtic Invasion Vacations. It's going to happen on June 21st through 28th, 2025. Follow the link on the website to join the invasion at CelticInvasion.com. Let's get back to the music. Bealtaine is up next with We're Coming Back from their album, The Founder's Room.
Yeah. The Countess, by her example, grabbed a pistol by the handle. Her fortune left in shambles. Her husband left to ramble. Coming upon, coming upon, coming upon, coming upon. Our nation, we will free you. Our workers, we will lead you. Our poor, we will feed you. Irish woman, we need you. Coming upon, coming upon, coming upon, coming upon. Dr. Lynn saw the writing. It will take more than fighting. Stood strong at the uprising. Collective consciences enlightened. Coming upon, coming upon, coming upon, coming upon. Nurse O'Farrell, she told James Connolly, I'll take that white flag upon me. But when she stepped out of that photo, her contribution could not show through. Coming upon, coming upon, coming upon, coming upon. Raw spirit trumps their beauty. A free nation is a duty. If your prisons can consume me, have the decency to shoot me. Coming upon, 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 coming upon. Thank you.
You'll never know the debt that's due to pay when you are old. When your weary breath is still and the home ground is cold. You consent to find the thread and you may learn to spin. And if you cannot find the words, then for sure the word it's a sin. I could walk with your hand this solitary road. If you should go much faster, I'll be sure to let you go. sleeps in the morning star. Light their tears and burying the scar. Take what you want and not what you need, breaking it down and letting it bleed. This is a blessed day, and there are open hands. There will be no one to judge, and there'll be no demands. Or will we find a leaden grave, a broken royal town? All the things that pulled you through the night has broken down. Sleeps in the trackless main. The world it has turned has left him again. Take what you want and not what you need, breaking it down and letting it bleed. He sleeps in the morning star, like 30 years and bearing the scar. Silent he sleeps in the trackless main. The world it has turned has left him again. Take what you want and not what you need, breaking it down and letting it bleed. Breaking it down and letting it bleed. Breaking it down and letting it bleed. Breaking it down and letting it bleed.
To wade in the river, you wanted to roll in the grass. If only summer stayed forever, some things aren't meant to last. Oh, I had my eyes on the mountain while you were on the lower path. Do you ever lose yourself in daydreams, or do you just let them pass? All I could give you is all that I had. All you ever asked for was all that I lacked. All I could give you is all that I had. All you ever
After Bealtaine came River Drivers with Cumann from Live at Steelstacks, then Fidra with Mortal Boy from The Running Wave, and finally Mànran with Standing Still from their single. I have a cat meowing in the background. My apologies. I want to remind you to vote in the Celtic Top 20 for 2024. This is our way of finding the best songs and artists each year. You can vote for as many songs and tunes that inspire you in each episode. Your vote helps me create next year's Best Celtic Music of 2024 episode. You have just 3 weeks to vote this year. All of the regular polls end on December 6th, so get those votes in as soon as possible. We're going to finish up with Alexis Chartrand and Nicolas Babineau from their album Écoutez. This is Le Bateau. Thank you so much for listening. Thorne agrees, so thanks, and I will talk to you again next week. Sláinte. The Irish and Celtic Music Podcast is produced by Mark Gunn, the Celtfather, and our patrons on Patreon. The show is edited by Mitchell Peterson with graphics by Miranda Nelson Designs. Visit our website to follow the show. You'll find a link to all the artists played in this episode. Todd Wiley is the editor of the Celtic Music Magazine. Subscribe to get 34 Celtic MP3s for free, plus you'll get 7 weekly news items about what's happening with Celtic music and culture online. Best of all, you will connect with your Celtic heritage. Please tell one friend about this podcast. Word of mouth is the absolute best way to support any creative endeavor. Promote Celtic culture through music at CelticMusicPodcast.com. Finally, Mark Gunn and the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast proudly endorse Vice President Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States of America. I know these are partisan times, but I firmly believe Harris is the best person to lead our country to a brighter future for all Americans. She also has a strong plan to make our already robust economy even stronger so that each of us can feel it in our pocketbooks. And she has a career of protecting the rights of women. Whether you agree with me or not on my endorsement, please vote in this year's election. Your vote matters and is how democracy stays strong. Sláinte.